Hi, everybody. We're really excited to be here. And before we start, I have actually the most pressing question of all. Okay, you're British. Do British people run?
No.
Okay, great. Confirmed. So I'm Marianne Cullinan, as we said. This is Rich, and we're going to tell you a little bit about Inspirisles and how it was used in my classroom.
First of all, I want to say thanks for having us.
Yeah, you better hold it.
Thank you. And I'm delighted that we're all waving instead of clapping, because it's like the first element of deaf awareness in the game. So that was a nice surprise. So I'm Rich, director of Hatchling Games. We make all ages and family-friendly sort of experiences, tabletop role-playing games. Hatchling started as a Dungeons & Dragons group for local teenagers. And after about a year of playing, I kind of had the pull of making something myself. So I designed a game that would teach sign language, because I worked in a deaf charity for over 10 years. I thought it was a good combination, and it could be a lot of potential. It's based loosely on Arthurian mythology, and you sort of play Pendragons, the descendants of Arthur and Guinevere. And on your 15th birthday, you travel to an alternate British Isles, and you must work together to heal the world tree. Once there, you choose one of the 4 elements and express them through British or American Sign Language.
Can you tell us a little bit about the team?
Oh, yes.
And the art?
Yeah. So Inspirisles was meant to be like a very small project. I launched a Kickstarter, and I wanted £1,000. Had all my terrible illustrations on there. But obviously the concept behind it was quite popular, and it raised much more than we imagined. What it meant was that I could get involved with professional artists, deaf consultancy, and my friends Rajni and Katie, who I work with at the charity, could produce sign language tutorial videos to go along with the static images in the game. Now at the stage right now, we've launched I've sold a lot of the products and the books, and now we've got about 25% of the whole team are from the hard of hearing or deaf communities. So that's delighted about that.
So across the pond, I find this game and I have the opportunity to do an enrichment class with 7th and 8th graders. And one of the things I love about this game is that it has deaf awareness, it has respect for each other, it has session 0 and safety tools and all the things that we want to teach kids, especially rural kids who live in New Hampshire in a monoculture, so much as part of the bones of it. So we decided to give it a go. So let's talk a little bit about the students. So this is my school, Great Brook School. It's a school of 245 middle schoolers, which in America is 10 through 14-year-olds. It's in New Hampshire. That's the tiny one that the arrow's pointing to. It's like the neck of America, if Maine's the head. We have a 45-day class period, about 50 minutes a day. I didn't put it on here, but there were about 20 students in each class, and every one of them was a hearing student. So they didn't have any practical experience with ASL at all. And you might not know this because I didn't know this before we started, but British Sign Language and American Sign Language, they're not dialects of the same language. They're completely different languages. But luckily, Rich got enough funding to do both. So we were able to learn American Sign Language. So what did we actually do? So children created their Pendragon characters. They had names. Here are 2 of their sheets. This is Duck Bunyam and Damon. And they their first opportunity was to learn finger spelling in the alphabet. They got to draw themselves. They got to choose their pronouns. You can see a picture here of one of my students who's the Grail Guide, which is the game master or dungeon master, running her class, her little group through some of their adventures. I was too nervous before, so I can't remember if you said how we use sign language in the game. Did you say that part out loud?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay, so
it's mainly It's mainly used in a kind of spell casting mechanic. So as I said, you pick an element each. So it's the sweet spot's kind of like a 5-person session. So the 4 players will pick an element each, and they'll use them in combination. So the tutorial sort of test in the game is a fishing test, and you have to kind of like use the 4 elements in inventive ways as a collaborative sort of experience, so that the air shaper can go around the outside of the lake, say, and like bring the fish into the center, and the fire shaper, because it's at nighttime, can like light up the water above the surface.
Or in the case of middle schoolers, boil all of the fish to death so you can eat them all at once. Yeah, and so the magic is the mechanic in the game that gives you a dice advantage. So the more signing you do, the more of a dice advantage you get. It's a 3d6 system. And so what's wonderful about this game is, although the ASL itself is relatively simple, within the game, it's very inspirational to keep going and learn other things. So here's a little video. When we weren't playing the game, we played around with these little toys. And so here's, is the video going to show? Oh, I am a potential security concern. That's what they told me at the airport. Shouldn't have worn overalls. No. Yes, we're going to continue. I'm going to bring, oh, no, we're not. We are absolutely not. So you're going to imagine in your mind 2 14-year-old boys giggling to each other as they say things like, my myrmicorn has a fishtail. Mine has a little heart on its butt, right? And they're giggling to each other, and they're talking back and forth. So, so what did we actually learn each day we learned somebody else's email address. Okay, so what did we learn? So practically we learned the alphabet. Everyone learned somewhere between 50 and 100 signs other than the alphabet. An awareness and respect for deaf culture. I mean, these are kids who've never really met a deaf person in real life. They learned gameplay, they learned group work. And I learned that not only do we play this game, but we need some breaks from the play, like playing with toys and doing basic tag and improv kinds of games. Gives us a chance to expand and practice and then come back to the game. Here's a couple quotes. This is that Grail guide you saw earlier. My experience so far has been really fun, and it's really awesome to be able to make people do things that teach them sign language. It's been really great being a leader and having these strange conversations where we flirt and try to get people in the game to do what we want. They're big on flirting. They're 13. We do a lot of things like save little animals from the wrath of crazy hunter people that want to kill them. We love trying to help people and definitely having strange conversations. And then someone else wrote, my favorite thing about this class is the hands-on learning. I say I'm a visual learner, and I like how Miss Cullinan, that's me, actually shows us. I also like how we were all learning new things about signs together to teach each other's the new sign. And so I didn't know sign language either. So we were truly all learning together.
But that's the important element of it.
Right.
Everyone starts on a base level.
Right.
It's more effective if everyone's a beginner.
This isn't for people who already know sign language. I mean, they can play it too, but they already know sign language. Right. So this is to sort of bridge that gap. So we're doing some emerging research. Oh, here, I wrote some notes. I was paying attention earlier. And Dr. William White told me that when you don't actually have your thing finished yet, you call it midpoint analysis. And so we're doing a quantitative data analysis using emergent coding of the themed of the lived experiences of student focus groups, which means I asked them how they liked it, and they told me, and I haven't finished writing it up yet. So what they told me was, this is actually someday hopefully going to be an academic article. I just came here instead of doing that work. And they loved it because it was fun and engaging. One of the really important things is, God love them, but my students are really rural. They are all white. They are all vaguely Christian. They all hear. They don't really know about diversity. Some of them have never been to the ocean. It's 90 minutes away. And so the fact that they learned deaf cultural awareness, and some of them became interested in learning another language for the first time in their lives. And they're like, oh, I can now understand why it would be useful to learn another language because everyone they know speaks English. It was a huge change in the classroom power dynamics because it's that distributed leadership, right? And so I'm sort of going around and helping and, being the heavy when needed to back up the Grail guides, but they're in charge. And we're all co-learning together. When someone's like, I want to know how to say PK pickle milk, I'm like, I have no idea how to say PK pickle milk. And so we all look it up and now we know. It's very exciting. And all right, or if they want to, whatever they want to say, we look it up and figure it out together. And so it's that co-learning. Oh, that's it. Okay, well, we're going to go back. We're going to talk more.
Yeah.
Because we have 5 more minutes. So what's next? What's next, Rich? What are we going to do?
Yeah, so we launched another Kickstarter. This is the core game. So we launched a campaign setting. It's expanding on the world building, expanding on the lore, but more importantly, it's expanding the sign language learning. So by the end of 3 games, say in a couple of years, we'll have quite an extensive learning system.
Yeah.
And that's really amazing. Like, so we can have we can take those signs and develop an app, mobile app, and put them all on there so they're instantly accessible at the table. And we can have a pack as well.
Yeah. Right. And so Jennifer over there, and I and Rich are working on a teacher's pack to sort of help do some of the things that were discussed earlier and make sure that it's accessible for people who aren't necessarily role players who are teachers. Because there is a lot of that actually in the game, a lot of that's reflection and learning, but to make it more accessible to teachers. I didn't think we were going to have time to say this. So I want to say really quickly that one other little thing that's not in the research is that some of my students have a very intense trauma background. And when they shut down, they don't talk anymore. And you don't know what's going on with them until they explode. And being able to just go across the room and having someone be able to sign back sick or angry or hungry, like all 3 of those things are very different solutions that I can provide quickly if I know. But a lot of times I can't find out because they can't tell me. And so that was something that was really amazing too, is being able to have this completely other way to talk to kids who can't always access the verbal components. So it's pretty cool. You made a good game.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
As we touched on a little bit earlier, it is for a British and American at the moment. We'd love to, because obviously every country has their own sign language and also regional differences. We'd love to take it across the world, but the considerations are, can they do a good job of it in terms of the actual art of the sign and also the deaf awareness and the deaf consultancy. So I've got reservations so far, but if I speak to the right people, hopefully they'll have a passion about it and be able to develop it the right way. Somewhere
in this room is a copy of Inspirisles wandering around. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's sort of wandering about.
And also I'd like to, anyone who wants a digital copy, I'd like to distribute it to anyone who's attended for free. So I'll put my email in Discord and you can just email me.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you.